Is this the beginning of the end, or the start of something greater? The Jayson Tatum injury. Nobody saw coming, and why it changes everything. What happens when the face of a franchise, the cornerstone of a championship team, suddenly faces the one injury that has ruined more careers than we care to admit? Jayson Tatum, the symbol of poise and precision in the modern NBA, is now on a road no one chooses. A long, uncertain, and unforgiving path through Achilles rehab. Let's be brutally honest. Rupturing your Achilles isn't just an injury. It's a threat to your career, to your legacy, to your mental strength. And yet, on day 25, Tatum dropped a quiet bomb on X. Day 25, days starting to get a little easier. Simple words, but beneath them, a storm of pain, determination, fear, and maybe something else. Something darker, because this isn't just about how Tatum will recover. It's about whether he'll ever be the same again. And nobody is asking the hard questions yet. Let's pull the curtain back. Kevin Durant beat the odds. Kobe Bryant never fully did. DeMarcus Cousins became a cautionary tale. The Achilles tendon doesn't just snap your ability to jump. It snaps your rhythm, your trust in your body, and sometimes your identity as an athlete. And here's what they don't tell you. This injury isn't just about healing. It's about reprogramming your game. Tatum's step back, that elegant, lethal footwork that carves defenders into highlight reel victims. It starts with a push-off from the Achilles, the smooth changes of pace, the sharp cuts, the balance on contested fadeaways. All of it born in the foot and ankle. So, what version of Jayson Tatum are we getting back? It's easy to fall back on the usual narratives. Modern medicine is incredible. Rehab has advanced. But let's not get lazy. Behind the scenes, there's a frantic recalibration happening in Boston's front office. The Celtics built their dynasty dreams around Tatum's prime, and suddenly, they may have to plan for a year, maybe more, without their leader. There are ripple effects here that go beyond just who starts at small forward. You think Jaylen Brown can carry the offense alone for 82 games? Can Kristaps Porzingis stay healthy long enough to be Plan A? And how does Brad Stevens navigate a rotation built around a ghost? A superstar in limbo. These aren't hot takes. These are quiet boardroom conversations the public never hears about. Sure, biomechanics tech has come a long way. We're talking real-time pressure sensors in shoes, muscle oxygen monitors, anti-gravity treadmills. Tatum will have the best of the best. But even with all that, there's one thing no tech can accelerate: trust. When he takes that first real cut in practice, when he jumps off that right foot in a game for the first time, does his brain believe in the body again? That's the million-dollar moment. And no scanner, no MRI, no app can predict it. Are the Celtics about to trade away the soul of their defense? Behind closed doors, Jrue Holiday's future in Boston hangs by a thread, and nobody's talking about the real reason why. It's the kind of move that could tear a locker room apart, the kind of whisper that starts small and suddenly explodes into headlines. The Boston Celtics are actively listening to trade offers for Jrue Holiday, not exploring, not vaguely interested, listening, seriously. Now pause for a second. Ask yourself, why would a team give up its most disciplined defender, a proven playoff warrior, just months after lifting the Larry O'Brien trophy? The obvious answer? Luxury tax, second apron restrictions, future flexibility. But the real story, that's buried deeper, and it's darker. Is Boston quietly rebuilding without saying the word? Here's what no one dares to say out loud. Not. Yet Jayson Tatum's Achilles injury didn't just sideline a superstar. It accelerated a strategic pivot, one that might include dismantling the core before it ages out or collapses under financial strain. Jrue Holiday is turning 35. His scoring dipped to its lowest level since his rookie season, 11.1 points per game. On paper, that stat looks like decline. But on the court, Holiday's defensive impact remains elite. He's still one of the few guards in the league who can truly erase an opposing star for a full 48 minutes. So why even consider trading him? Because Boston is staring into a future they didn't expect to see so soon. A future without a healthy Tatum. A future where keeping an aging, expensive core might mean years of regret. And yet, by all appearances, Holiday did everything right. Leadership, hustle, lockdown, defense, efficiency from deep, playoff composure. So what gives? Let's not pretend sentimentality survives under the weight of a $345 million projected payroll. Boston isn't just in cap trouble, it's in cap hell. And under the NBA's new collective bargaining agreement, the second apron isn't a slap on the wrist. It's a guillotine. The penalties include losing access to future trade flexibility, frozen draft picks, and limits on mid-season upgrades. Keeping the roster intact while Tatum heals could cripple their chances for years. So, instead of clinging to what worked, they're betting on ruthless adaptation. But here's the uncomfortable question. Can you strip away your most seasoned playoff defender in the name of flexibility and still expect to win when it counts? If Boston moves Drew, it won't be just about the money. It'll be about identity, grit, accountability, two-way basketball, all the traits this Celtics team was supposed to embody. And let's talk optics. Holiday just signed a 4-year, $134 million extension. Moving him now, it sends a chilling message. No one is safe, not even champions. The Mavericks and Clippers have already sniffed around. Brooklyn could absorb his contract, but why would they? Unless Boston sweetens the deal. Every other potential trade partner would need to send back at least $22.5 million in salary, which means what? Marcus Morris, Norman Powell, Tim Hardaway Jr. Would those names really move the needle if you're trying to defend a banner? Unless Boston's front office has something wild up its sleeve. A 3-team blockbuster, a high upside rookie, a shocking superstar pivot. Then this starts to look less like calculated risk and more like quiet retreat. What if the Celtics are plotting something bigger than Cooper Flag? The Cooper Flag smokescreen, the Drew Holiday rumors, and a Dallas trade that could blow up the league's balance of power. At first glance, it all felt like a dead end. Duke, phenom Cooper Flag, projected number 1 overall in the 2025 NBA draft, reportedly had a meeting with the Boston Celtics, a team with the 28th pick. Cue the fantasy talk. Celtics fans dreaming of a once-in-a-generation leap up the draft board, a future cornerstone, a New England prodigy coming home. But Brad Stevens quickly slammed the brakes. We met with Flag, yes, but trading up for him is not possible. And that was supposed to be the end of it. But now, it looks like that meeting might have been a decoy, because just weeks later, a very real Celtics-Mavericks trade report has surfaced. And this one doesn't involve Cooper Flag at all. It involves Drew Holiday. And if you think this is just cap maneuvering, think again. This could be the first chess move in a long-term plan that nobody is seeing clearly yet. Not even die-hard Boston fans. Let's zoom in on what this means for the Mavericks first. Cooper Flag is expected to join Anthony Davis in Dallas. Yes, you read that right. And while Flag may be a rookie, his defensive ceiling is already being compared to players like Andrei Kirilenko and even early career Garnett. Now imagine trying to score with Drew Holiday guarding the perimeter, Flag switching onto wings, and Davis protecting the rim. That's not a defense. That's a full-blown nightmare, a multi-layered trap with no way out. Jay King of The Athletic confirmed that Boston and Dallas could be working on a deal, not involving Flag, but rather a high-level veteran move. Drew Holiday is the name mentioned. And while most analysts would look at this as Dallas trying to bolster their rotation, there's something far more sinister happening. Dallas isn't trying to compete. They're trying to suffocate the West. And Boston, if they're in talks with Dallas, why now? Why send Holiday to a conference rival? Why let go of your defensive general when your star player is down with a catastrophic Achilles injury? The answer could be chilling. On the surface, trading Holiday would be about finances, about getting under the second apron, about flexibility, but dig deeper, and you'll see something more. Boston is quietly transitioning into a new phase. Without ever admitting it, the Cooper Flag meeting wasn't about this year. It was about next year, or the one after. It was about exploring a future where the Celtics aren't running it back. They're rebuilding on the fly, with maximum youth, flexibility, and draft capital. You don't interview the number 1 pick when you're picking 28th, unless you want to send a message to the league, to agents, to other GMs. We're looking past today. Brad Stevens called a flag trade not possible, but why not gather intel anyway? Why not plant seeds? Especially if behind the scenes, you're already preparing to flip the roster piece by piece. And here's the wildest part. The Dallas deal might just be the first step. If Holiday goes to Dallas, Boston won't be taking back filler. According to King, the Mavericks have a crowded front court, including Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively, and PJ Washington, and also young assets like Max Christie. What if Jaylen Brown is just a pawn in a plan to lure Giannis? A shocking Achilles injury, a superstar's rising value, and a franchise caught between loyalty and legacy. The Boston Celtics are at a terrifying crossroads, and few people realize just how fragile their empire has become. Jaylen Brown, fresh off a Finals MVP and widely considered the heart of Boston's two-way identity, is now at the center of a trade storm. And it's not for just anyone. It's for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yes, you read that right. A player the Celtics have fought against in countless postseason wars. Might now be their only hope for survival in a post-Tatum reality. And here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. If Boston wants Giannis, Jaylen Brown is the price. But what if this isn't just about Giannis? What if the Celtics are testing the waters for something even bigger? A complete philosophical shift that resets everything we thought we knew about their future. Why is Jaylen Brown on the table now? To understand the gravity of this moment, you have to look past the headlines. Yes, Jayson Tatum tore his Achilles. Yes, he might miss the entire 2025 season. But the real reason Boston is exploring seismic trades isn't about health. It's about money and legacy. With the second apron looming and a monstrous tax bill on the horizon, Celtics ownership is waving the white flag on the idea of running back the most expensive roster in franchise history without its best player. According to multiple reports, Boston is not ruling out a Jaylen Brown trade. And if they do move him, it won't be for anything short of a historic return. But why float his name now? Why leak interest in Giannis? When? There's no clear sign he's even available, because this is how power moves begin. Not with trades, but with whispers. Are the Spurs the hidden key to this master plan? Here's where it gets weird. According to Chris Mannix of Sports Illustrated, if Milwaukee doesn't play ball with teams like San Antonio in a potential Giannis deal, the Spurs could shift their attention to Jaylen Brown, offering a king's ransom that mirrors what they'd give for Antetokounmpo. Think about that. A franchise that's known for patience, culture, and building around Victor Wembanyama is now being linked to both Giannis and Brown. And if Boston is willing to entertain that offer, it suggests something massive is in motion. But here's the real curveball. What if Boston doesn't want the pick? They want leverage. Let's say the Celtics entertain that Spurs package. Publicly, it looks like a rebuild. Trading a Finals MVP for young pieces? The optics would be brutal. But what if Brad Stevens isn't collecting assets just to get younger? What if he's stockpiling leverage to go after Giannis himself? Follow the logic. Milwaukee is in crisis mode. The Chris Middleton era is fading. Damian Lillard's window is closing. The Bucks are watching their title hopes evaporate by the day. And if Giannis gets even a whiff of Boston loading up with picks, youth, and cap flexibility, while still having Tatum and Kristaps Porzingis in the background, he might suddenly see Boston not as a rival, but as an escape hatch. Imagine a future where the Celtics flip the Spurs' number 2 pick and other assets right back into a Giannis deal, leapfrogging every other contender by using San Antonio's ambition as a middle step. That's not rebuilding, that's reloading.